Yo, what's up, guys? It's good, Akeem. What's up? Speed 505, the Blue Bucket. What up, man? We have BigRuss Racing joining us tonight. Just gonna ask him a few questions. Um, yeah, he should be getting on here soon, hopefully. So, how's everybody's Christmas Eve going? What's good, Jess? Jess Gonzalez, 837. Yeah, we got hit with snow a couple of days ago, and it wasn't too much. The Merc did pretty good in the snow, though. I think that this is my second time driving this car in the snow. Did pretty good. So I've had snow tires on the rears for like a year now. So 4 a.m. Are you in Kuwait or Bahrain, Saudi? One of those three, I'm gonna assume. Christmas is pretty cool. It's a lot different as you get older. Something that I'm learning and realizing. But I mean, I didn't have work today or tomorrow, so I can't complain. I've been in the house all day pretty much. Creeper. What's up, Creeper? Yeah, nice. I want to visit there, man, and host a meet. There's a lot of Panthers out there, like a lot. What I've noticed is that there's a lot of Grand Marquis. I don't think I've seen too many Lincoln Town cars, but there seems like there's a lot of Grand Marquis. What's up, Big Russ?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Not bad, man. And we finally got on here. I know we rescheduled a couple of times, so I apologize about that.
Yeah, all good. No problem. I know the way things can be.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the Panther Magazine podcast, everyone. We have Big Russ Racing here. Um, he's actually been featured on the YouTube channel for the Panther Spotlight series. That video was great. I learned a lot about him and his Crown Vic, one of the two that he has through that video. So, where in California are you located exactly?
About an hour and a half away from Apple Valley, my home track where most of the videos are shot. So,
Right,
yeah.
that's pretty cool. So, do you want to give everybody the story because you currently drift two Crown Vics? I know one of them was about $200 for one of them.
Yeah, $100
A
actually.
hundred
Yeah.
bucks. That's freaking crazy.
I've been meaning to make a video about that, but for all the Panther Magazine people, I got it on Gov Deals, website where you don't need any like licensing or anything, or at least in most states you don't. In my state, you didn't. Um, and actually, you can still see my original auction listing. So anybody who's listening to this and wants to see it, send me a message. I'll send you a link to the listing. But yeah, I got that for. Appreciate you, Brandon. By the way, I got that for $100 at auction. There was probably like I don't know 6 or 8 different Vics that were at auction that week. Some of them total, some of them missing, and motor and trans, stuff like that. All went for like $400 to $1,000. But nobody bid on mine for some reason. And yeah, so I didn't really want to, like deal with the issues if I had a non-working car. So I was actually on the phone with my oldest brother. And long story short, I ended up bidding on the car 5 seconds before the close. Got it for $112.50 out the door. So,
That's
yeah,
crazy, man. That's
I
cool.
bought it basically directly from Hemet Police Department. So my point of contact was the main mechanic, the fleet mechanic. So that was really cool. It was pretty funny, and I have this on video. He told me, he's like, I wouldn't trust the car to take you 65 miles, which was hilarious because I probably got like just about 10,000 miles and 500 laps of full send drifting at my track out of it before I finally blew up a trans. So
That's crazy. That's a lot of driving though.
yeah, and none of that was. I mean, even when I wasn't drifting the car, the like 6 months before was just like purely beating on it. Like off roading and J turns and all the things you could think of that you should be doing with a beat up pre crashed cop car. So uh,
Um, so before the question I really wanted to ask you,
uh,
do you want to explain the newer Vic that you're driving? Because you're driving the second Vic and not the $100 Vic right now.
yeah. So I actually my second oldest brother is a professional drifter for Formula Drift. um, like the second tier of professional drifter, but still a professional driver, which is wild. Anyway, I helped him a lot, and he saw that I was struggling with my auto car. It was down for like 5 or 6 months. I was chasing what ended up being Fuse 21, which basically controls like 12 or 13, 14 different things, including like your O2 sensors, your shift solenoids, your I can't even remember everything, but it controls like 15 different things. So if you have one thing short in Fuse 21, and it's a different fuse, I think, on the 2008 and newer cars, but 2005 to 2008, it's Fuse 21. If you have one thing short on that, it's like, you have to trace every single thing on there. But anyway, I couldn't find it after many months. Brother had bought a Vic just because he saw what I was doing with it, gave me this Vic. I blew up the transmission on it day one, unfortunately, driving it. Like it barely made it home.
Yeah,
Um, and the next morning when I started up, every gear was reverse, which was interesting. But anyway, it waited for a trans swap. That was like August last year. It waited for a trans swap until like July this year, I think. And then my buddy's shop, Mad Science Garage, Vlad took on the swap for me. He had worked as a fleet mechanic for many years and worked on Vics, so he always had an interest in manual swapping one. So they took that on for me. Um, used parts from ADTR, the swap kit, the pedals from them, the Ford Performance gears from them. Had Mad Science Garage do the swap. They also handled the re-gear and everything of the sort. And yeah, so now it's got 410 gears. It's a 2008 Vic. Marty tune as well. Big, big, big thank you to Marty as well for stepping in and helping us sort some issues out.
yes, sir.
But yeah, it's stock besides that. So no handbrake, no parking brake, which is pretty uncommon in drifting to not have a handbrake. It's definitely seen as like mandatory equipment, and it really is at a certain point, like especially for chasing people in tight layouts. The Vic is a big car, but
Yeah,
you can definitely make do without one, especially not competing. So,
that's pretty cool.
but yeah, I spent the last couple months since like July, learning the manual car, and I'm still learning the manual car, but learned it stock, but definitely overdue for some upgrades. So, I will be getting a handbrake at some point soon. Suspension, probably an angle kit. Um, Definitely in desperate need of upgraded control arms and stuff like that because I keep snapping control arms and Wattslink studs as well. So,
So which one do you like driving better?
of course, the manual
The
car, man.
manual? Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
I
besides
get that.
even the fact that it's manual, the 410 gears do make a massive difference. The car's got a lot more, a lot more pep to it. And like the amount of control you get in manual is great. I was really fortunate in that my home track used to be a go-kart track, so it's a really small track. So with the 327 gearing with the auto, I could drift the whole track besides the entry and first gear, which was kind of like cheating because I had all the responsiveness the car could give me. all the power the car could put down, I had access to. So it was a little easier than people think it was. But with the auto car, what I always explained to people was doing entries, which, some of you have seen those videos. Throwing entries in the auto car was just like compensation drifting. You threw the car and then just kind of waited and saw what it was going to do and adjusted your approach accordingly.
Yep.
So
Okay.
like, there was times where it would keep me in second gear all the way to a stop, basically, which really sucked. There was times where it would give me first gear pretty much instantly, which was amazing. But the predictability and everything of the manual car, actually being able to select the gear that I want to be in and everything of the sort is a game
I can
changer.
I can imagine. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and there's so much more room to make things up too. Like if you threw a bad entry in the auto car, you were done. Like, it's very hard to compensate really compensate in any significant way because you didn't have any tools. So really just having a clutch to be able to select gears and everything is of course priceless in drifting. So you know um,
So, like, what got you? I think you might have explained it, but what got you into drifting in the first place?
um so I've been playing Gran Turismo for a really really long time,
Okay.
basically my whole life.
Yep. That's a good game.
And my brother, actually, who's a professional drifter, also played Gran Turismo for a long time, and we started drifting in Gran Turismo maybe like 15 years ago, I would say. Um, and both actually would like build drift cars in Gran Turismo and then drift in Gran Turismo and like critique each other's laps. It wasn't normally like tandem driving, but still, like, we would do a lap and then we would both watch it and kind of review it and critique it, and then switch.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah, so that was really cool. I just happened to. I heard that my brother had started drifting, but also I saw it was like the peak of COVID. I saw like a drifting in a charity drifter and drifting for Armenia, if I'm not mistaken. And I just went out there and spectated, and like honestly, I have probably 5 videos of that day of just like talking to myself, like I have to
Mhm.
do this someday. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't even I didn't realize like doing it in real life was even a thing. Like it was just something that I did in the video games, just messing around.
That's
Uh,
pretty cool. That's a different. Some people have that inspiration and don't really go for it. So that's pretty cool that you guys was like, we have to try this.
yeah,
Yeah, like,
yeah, I got lucky. Like especially nowadays, drift cars are so expensive and hard to get.
yeah.
And had I not gotten the Auto Vic for $100, I don't know if I ever would have started drifting. And it 100% changed my life. So
That was the next question I had. If you wasn't drifting Crown Vics, like what car would you possibly be drifting? Or would
well,
you
if I
not be drifting at all?
well if I hadn't started drifting with Vic, I definitely wouldn't like. There's probably like a 95% chance that I wouldn't be drifting
That's
at the moment.
crazy.
Maybe even higher. Like even being around professional drifting and seeing all of it, I still probably wouldn't have. I almost more so wouldn't have started drifting being around all of that because like the expenses and all of professional drifting is insane. Like
I can imagine.
so like
That's like a different type of building a car.
yeah, versus like I got the auto car for $100, and for the first year driving it, like I like I'm outside of Walmart right now actually. I would go to like Walmart's used tire piles, they're recycling tires, and I would take tires whatever sizes I could get, and I would go to other tire stores and stuff like that, and I bought a manual tire machine from Harbor Freight, and I would
Yeah.
mount every single tire by hand, use some carb cleaner and a little bit of fire to get it seated on the bead, and everything of that sort, and I did that for the first year. And like I had a running tally. I don't anymore, but the first year of driving, including buying the car, event fees, gas getting to the track, water, tools, everything, was
Yeah.
$2,500. which is insane. I got probably 500 to 700 laps in that time. That's including track fees too.
That's crazy.
That's including going to events too, which event fees were probably like 400 or 500 out of that 2,500. So,
That's
um,
that's a lot of money.
yeah. So, at least for now, I'm going to be drifting a Vic. I need to do some upgrades and all, and give the Vic a fair shot at really being competitive. Um, like I do intend and have been competition driving, but of course in the auto car it was more like just getting the reps in. Like you weren't really going out there to win. Most of the cars that I was competing against were twice the power, half the weight, manual, hydro, angle kit, suspension, everything.
Yep.
Versus as out there in a stock automatic Vic. So. Um, I definitely am ready to start taking some wins, and the Vic needs all the, proper stuff, to actually be able to do that. So I do need coilovers, I do need, an angle kit, a handbrake, everything of that sort. So I'm hoping actually to get all that done before the start of the season in February. I did not realize that competition starts again in
Yeah,
February. So.
that was my next question. Was like your schedule for 25. Do you know like all the races that you'll be doing and stuff already, or?
So as far as like, I do have three main local competitions that I'll be driving, which is going to be Ultimate Drifting Challenge, which they're actually going to be having a 215 tire spec comp and a 235 tire spec comp this year. I'm not sure if I'm going to be driving both of those. It's going to be one day and the next day. Um, I am going to be driving Flavor Express's Am Slam, which is kind of like a hot pit feeder series. Which, if you guys don't know, a hot pit is like the local, like pro am, uh, you know, proving grounds. Really, there's normally generally like three, maybe four pro, like top level pro drivers that drive it every year as well, and stuff like that.
That's
So
crazy. So it's like high level stuff.
yeah, so this series is kind of like a feeder, scouter series for that. So.
Cool.
Um, Yeah, so I intend to at least drive those three, but but besides that, there'll probably be, I would assume at least 10 random event days throughout the year. Big events that are there. Also, when they do allow and have like stadium practice days, which I believe we're supposed to have once a month, I'll be driving those as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Just because it's a new track layout. It's a lot to learn. It's somewhere where I'm probably going to crash my car at some point, especially more so than the local track. But that happens to everybody, and learn as much as I can, as fast as I can. That way, the next time I go out there to compete, which actually is pretty soon, hopefully I'll be better equipped. So,
So
uh,
you mentioned about 10 events this year. Your content, like how do you just like record like all day and then you can just put it into different clips? Is that how you do it, or?
most of the clips that I post on here are just like, stuff that there's media at every event. There's, normally a drone pilot, at least, 3 to 5 media people, which, very grateful for them. Most of them are friends,
Right.
and if they're not already friends, they will be at some point. Um, Unfortunately, it does add to the expenses of everything. Everybody has bills to pay and stuff like that. And you do need to pay your media people as well. So, what I do need to really start doing is long form content. For those of you that do watch my stories, you'll see, especially on event days, I generally post like 10 to 20, story clips just throughout the day of things that are going on, whether I'm
Yeah.
breaking parts or, how practice for comp is going or, everything in between. So, in reality, that's probably like 80% of, long form content that I'm already making. So I do need to do that, um, especially just, I mean, even to afford to continue doing this. It's while you can do it cheap, and I did do it crazy cheap the first year. As you
Yeah.
do, want to get more competitive and stuff like that, and especially the Vic is a unique and expensive chassis. Like where I have friends who can get, decent intro angle kits for, $300 to $500. It's like, the angle kit for the Vic is, 2 grand plus,
Yeah, yeah,
and then not only that, but like, people don't realize who aren't in it, but like, just a quick example, driving Irwindale, a week or two ago, very, very grateful for that opportunity. But your standard event fee for a place like that is over $200. Just to drive. $200+ for tires, 200+ tires for dollars for gas and transportation. $200+ for media, $200+ just for miscellaneous. Food, water, parts, consumables for the car. So. Um, things start adding up really fast. So I definitely need to start making some long form content and stuff like that if I intend to keep going, especially like if I want to show up well equipped, like
yeah.
I've showed up, kind of with the bare minimum, as far as everything goes, including safety, which been pushing my luck for a little bit too long. But yeah, I definitely need to come with at least the basic tools, Um,
I think you'll end up getting a sponsor one day. I think that would be cool.
I hope so. I mean, that's kind of been the main point of, pushing all this content and stuff like that.
Start
Of course, it's been
start
really,
start
really
throwing
cool
some
to see the
stickers on the
support.
Vic.
What was that?
Start throwing some stickers on the Vic of some sponsors, people sponsoring you and stuff. So
Yeah, I really need to send out sponsorship requests and proposals and stuff like
yeah,
that. It's
I
something
think
that
you
I need to get on top
I
of. Um,
think you'd get one. I definitely do.
yeah, thank you. Um, even though I don't have like official sponsors, I will say Chris, ADTR, has been, a big supporter, just even information, but also parts and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Not technically sponsored by ADTR, but, Chris has always been there when I needed help, when I needed parts, when I, whatever the thing may be. So I'm definitely very grateful, um, you know, hopefully I'll work hard enough and push hard enough and get Chris and ADTR as an official sponsor someday. But
that would be
um,
sick.
yeah, I need to make a drift day happen for him, and I've been saying that for way too long. So
Yeah.
I definitely, even
Next,
just as a thank you for everything he's done so far, I need to have a drift day
or
for
if you
him.
guys
So.
collab on a drift event, you guys be the host of the event. That would be pretty huge.
Yeah, it'd be fun to get more Panther people out here. I was just at the track last weekend, and the like groundskeeper was telling me that there was a bunch of Spec P71 guys there doing the drift zone rental,
Yeah, those
and
guys
he
are
was showing all of them my car and stuff like that. I've been meaning to post, but yeah, whoever that was should have reached out. If I knew they were going to be out there, I would have at least like I normally leave my keys with my car, so
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I would have at least had them take a look at it, and like yeah, I'd be down to set up a drift day for all the local Vic people, whether they want to come out and learn with their own car, just come for ride-alongs or whatever the case may be. So
That'd be awesome. I'm pretty sure you are. I'm pretty close with Chris, so I'll hit him up and see
yeah.
how that could happen. Maybe I'll fly out and hang out with you guys.
Yeah, that'd be wild. I mean, AVS is a lot of fun, and there's a lot of space, and you're pretty free to do whatever you want, really.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of desert, so you could have music, have a fire, barbecue, whatever you want to do, relax, figure things out on the skid pad, go hit the track. Most open practice days too. There's generally like 0 to 3 people out there, so
That's crazy.
um, occasionally you'll go out there and like there'll be a pro, top level pro driver out there testing their like 1,000 or 1,200 horsepower pro car. Uh, you
That's
know,
insane.
yeah, it's pretty wild. Like you see something like that coming down the straight, and it's like it's a go kart track. You see these guys coming down the straight at triple digits, just like throwing the car in 90 degrees, like completely sideways. It's pretty wild.
I think the most wild thing I've seen is that clip. I can never get over it. I might have been at work taking a quick break because I
Hmm.
can't use my phone at work. So I'm like, let me just see what's going on. And there's a video of you eating a sandwich while you're drinking. And I'm just like, that's the next level. That's crazy.
It's the perk of your home track. I do know the track very well.
That's
and
great.
I am pretty comfortable driving with one hand. So,
That's awesome.
but yeah, that was hilarious. I definitely need to make some more of those. So, I've tried to make one eating sushi a bunch of times, but every time I've gone out there to film it, I've been like, oh, I'm gonna go, take a buddy for a ride along or whatever, and then film the video after. And I always either break the car or something of the sort, and then like end of the day, I'm either, if I kept the sushi cold enough, I'll eat the sushi. Otherwise, I have to throw it away. So
So
uh,
are you thinking with the chopsticks?
that's the plan. Yeah, I'm pretty
Oh
good
my,
with
that'll be
chopsticks.
cool. That'll be cool.
That's
That'll
the
be
plan.
cool.
I was just trying to figure out though. I'm like, how do I hold it in place? So I was looking for like suction cup, holders, like a suction cup TV tray type of deal, but I couldn't find that. So what I ended up finding was like, um, one was like an aquarium tank, freaking interior holder thing where you like stick it to the interior of the aquarium,
Yeah,
and it's like a little platform. Another one I got, like your standard shower soap, stick it on the wall and it holds your soap. So
yeah.
my plan is to have the sushi on top of there, and then it's gonna kind of suck because it's gonna be on my window, so I'm gonna have to like reach over with the chopsticks and grab it and eat it while driving. But
Unless like
you
mid
know,
drift, you have like one sushi on the napkin on your lap, and you just take the chopsticks and just.
yeah, yeah, but I can do it without having to cheat it. Like I already had people trying to call me on it because like they thought I was cheating it because I was at like the end of my Red Bull can that I was filming the videos with.
Okay.
And I was like leaning it all the way back, trying to get the last bits of it. And he's like, "There's nothing even in there,"
That's crazy.
So the next day, I posted a clip of me cracking it, like as I'm about to throw the entry in, it just spilling all over the car.
That's crazy. That's a
So
good smell for the day too.
yeah,
The energy drink smell.
yeah. Fortunately, there's enough miscellaneous smells in Epic that you don't smell it,
It just, yeah, you don't
but
even notice it.
yeah, you can still see the mark on my dash where it spilled.
That's crazy.
And actually, I really really dislike Red Bulls too. I've never had a taste for Red Bulls, so
Yeah, I'm not.
uh,
I feel like those energy drinks don't work. I've tried them and they just make me more tired.
yeah, yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
common. Um,
yeah.
I'm definitely just a coffee person myself. I used to drink energy drinks when I was
I'm
younger,
a
but not a
I'm
long
a
time.
Mountain Dew guy. I'll drink Mountain Dew for breakfast.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh,
So, I guess the last question I had for you was, what is your favorite Panther platform car out
I
of all the
mean,
Panthers?
well, I mean, I am very, very partial, of course, to just the standard Oreo, because
Yep,
those are mine. But the Marauders are pretty sick.
they are.
And I saw a salvage title Marauder recently, and I was so tempted to buy it and manual swap it and turn that into my drift car. But like financially, like it doesn't make sense. Like if I had like a YouTube channel or something like that, something where like it would be content as well, then it would be cool, and I could have done it. But I just couldn't, pull the trigger. But
That was
the
respons-
Marauders are awesome, of course.
that was responsible of you. Very
Yeah, well,
responsible.
I gotta be responsible in some places so I can keep being
Yeah,
irresponsible.
true.
Because like
I get
I
that. I
I,
get that.
I don't want to show up, to comp again this year with the completely stock car, and like it's fine and it's fun and I'm capable and I'm still, holding my own, but I definitely I need to do stuff like that so I can progress more as a driver. So.
So what paint color Marauder? The blue one, silver birch, burgundy, black. Which one would you pick out of the?
That's a good question. I mean, black always looks good, but it's hard to, like in reality, it's always hard to keep a black car clean, So I would
Yeah,
probably have to go with like the silver, and then you can, throw on some black accents if you want and stuff like that. The only problem with that nowadays, is like with drift cars, it's like you go black, it's very hard to actually like capture any of the details on media.
yep.
So it's like it's yeah, it's not like it's taboo with media people, with drivers, they just like the colors and all, but with yeah, it's like you can't go black, unfortunately, with drift cars at least. Even if you go with like a black body on it, it just hides so much of, like the details,
Yeah,
So like as far as a drift car, I mean, I'm probably gonna have to go black because it's a cop car. I got to go with the black and white. But
yeah. The black and white
but
looks good on the track. It does. It really does.
it does. Like yeah, I was probably annoying people, especially at Irwindale, because every time I went out for a run, I would have the sirens on full blast.
Yeah,
And you could like, I didn't realize just how loud it was. Like when I turned them on, like I had people in the pits on the opposite side of the track, like way down in the pits, who were like, "Oh, we could tell every time you were doing a run,"
that's funny.
you know.
That's how it
So
should be. That's how you make yourself known too, though.
well, yeah, but it's got to be a little bit annoying. I
A
mean,
little
it's a little
annoying.
annoying for me as well. So,
I get that.
but yeah, I didn't realize actually this last weekend while I was at the track, I only turned them on like twice, and it was my first time driving with them at my home track. So,
Oh
um,
man,
I mean, I left the lights on. I just didn't have
the
the
sirens.
sirens going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I get that.
yeah. But I guess yeah, I'm gonna have to run them more. Everybody enjoys them, so everybody's been telling me and just nonstop talking about it. So as much as like I'm worried about them being annoying.
Or at least run them. At least run them for like a few laps. Maybe like a lap and a half. Just leave the sirens going.
Yeah, yeah. The clip that I got recently of that Miata chasing me with my lights and sirens on is
Yeah,
pretty great.
yeah,
I
that's
don't know if
pretty
you
cool.
saw that one, but that was hilarious.
You have a ton of content. Sometimes I go on your page and I fall into it. I'm like, this is crazy. It just drifting in Crown Vic like that. I don't think it's supposed to drift like that, and it's completely stopped.
I mean, honestly, I trip a little bit watching. Like, I can disassociate from my content. You know what I mean? And just like watch it and enjoy just watching like what's going on because I enjoy watching drifting and
Yeah, yeah.
silly stuff like that. I recently I had a bunch of buddies drive my car at this last event, and one of them was really ripping, and it was so fun to see my car actually out there. Like
It's a lot.
really, linking corners and linking. Actually, he linked the whole track. It was pretty damn impressive. Like
It's a
it was a
lot
couple
different.
laps in linking the track. So
Watching somebody else drive your car is a lot different than when you're behind the wheel of your own car. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exactly. I've had a couple. Well, actually, only one main ride along with I forget his Instagram, Andy Cottleman or something like that. There's a bunch of local people who have started bringing Vicks to the track and stuff like that just because they saw what I was doing. So I had a chance to ride along in a Vic, and he was doing pretty well, especially for a couple of days in. Actually, for a couple of days in, he was doing phenomenal. Um, but yeah, it was really fun riding along passenger in the Vic. Like I really understood, like just the stupidity and the laughing and the like everything. Like there's so many times when most of the time when people get out of my car, even recently while driving it, like they just have a giant smile on their face and they're laughing and giggling
I
about
could
stupid
imagine.
stuff and
I need
um,
to experience that because I've never sat in the car and somebody drifted before,
oh, it's
especially
so
not on the
much
track.
fun.
Especially not on the track. So I mean, if I ever got in the passenger seat of your car, I'd probably be smiling too.
It's a blast, and especially like the good thing about my car, like you have, there's times I have four people plus me in there, or like a lot of
That's
times at
cool.
these, at the events, there'll be like 30 to 80 cars, and there'll be a couple hundred people, a couple hundred spectators. And like, I'll have like a mom, a son, a daughter, like a whole family in the car, all getting their first ride along,
That's
and
sick.
they're all like screaming and laughing and joking and, like everything of the sort. And, it's pretty wild. It's really pretty special to be a part of it, like, it's a privilege to be able to be a part of it and help bring that experience to people. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, if someday when you make it down and we'll try and coordinate it so that there's some sort of event going on at that time, you'll see. It's a good time. It's yeah, it's a lot of like-minded people. Everybody. It's good vibes, good feelings, good food and all too. There's always catering there, so.
A lot of tires. The smell of tires and burnouts is probably all day long.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty constant, you know. Good amount of noise too, depending on which track you're at. Like if you're at some of these stadium tracks and stuff like that, especially like there will be a crazy amount of tire buildup on the track. So like a car will go by and they'll literally just throw, you know, like a handful of rubber at your face, you know, like
That's crazy.
uh, yeah, it's like there's times, especially after those tracks, where you go home and you take a shower, especially after spectating, like you're scrubbing chunks of rubber out of your hair. So, you know.
It's like growing dreadlocks.
Yeah, rubber dreadlocks. Yeah,
Rubber
that's
dreadlocks.
hilarious. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
it's like after Irwindale, even though scrubbing my front tires every lap, like when I parked my car back at the home track, there was like I don't know half an inch, three quarters of an inch of just like layers of rubber on my front tires that were picked up just from driving across the track. Like
That's crazy.
yeah, it's pretty wild. It was pretty wild drifting, you know, Irwindale too. You know, it's a big track. You know, it's a big boy track for sure. You know, like high speed, you know, high commitment. You know, like definitely some next level stuff. So you know, um, just kind of also emphasized to me that it's time for upgrades. You know, like
Yeah.
you can only do so much stock. You know, as much as you want to. You know, there's some limitations. So.
A tune in a supercharger has to be thrown in there at some point.
I wish, man, but in reality, at least no time soon. Just because I've, you know, like between cage, suspension, angle kit, etc. You know, like
Yeah.
basically like spending a Marauder on the Vic. You
Yeah.
know, like a nice Marauder on the Vic. You know, and then realistically after that, unless I got a crazy deal on a supercharger, like it's just bang for your buck. It makes a lot of sense to go nitrous,
Yep.
just because these cars handle it really well too. So you know, if I'm going to spend, you know, a couple $100 to spray a 75 or 100 shot, you know, and yes, I'll have to fill up nitrous, but you know, I've got connections in the racing community, so I'll
Nice.
get it for cheap. You know, but if I can spray 75 or 100 horsepower, you know, rather than having to go and set up a supercharger and all, you know, unfortunately, I'd probably go that route, you know. Um, and then at that point too, with the people that I know, you know, I'd probably go motor swap instead, you know,
Okay.
because you know, yeah, yeah, it would make sense to go either Coyote or you know even LS, you know, as much as the Vic community or at least you know the Ford enthusiast community wouldn't want to
Yeah,
see it, you know.
they're against that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You know, I'm speaking taboo words for sure
Yeah.
on the Panther podcast.
That is pretty cool though, but a lot of guys are against it because it's not forward. So
You know, if I start that YouTube channel and that social media content and they're helping fund it through like merch and stuff like that, by all means, I would love to stay forward. But, you
yeah,
know, if I'm going to spend twice, 2 to 3 times as much to go, you know, with a Coyote instead of an LS, you know, and I'm funding it out of pocket, it's like, you know, I'm
yeah, I
going to
get
do what
that.
needs to be done to keep the car on the track. So,
Yeah,
you know.
get some trophies in the meantime too.
Would be nice, you know, but I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see just how competitive a Vic can be, you know, because like at the end of it, it's still a really heavy car, you know, and like even if you know I spray and I've got 350 horsepower, like I'm going against you know 350 horsepower cars at a minimum, which are you know 2,800 pounds, you know, and
Yeah,
even stripped, my car is probably going to be 4,200 pounds, you know, or 4,100 pounds. So, you know, you have over 1,000 pounds on them in a competitive environment is pretty wild, you
yeah,
know. Um, I will say I have been very impressed by what it's been able to do so far, especially in
I,
stock
I
configuration.
can imagine.
So,
And it's like you said, it's a huge, heavy car, and like, what you've been doing with it is pretty impressive. You don't see it often, so
yeah, I'm just hoping, you know, that I don't, you know, look back after I've put all this money into it and be like, you know, wow, that was a mistake, you know,
I'm pretty sure
because that would
you know.
suck,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know. My thought is even if a Vic isn't as competitive as it I would like it to be, it's still going to be an amazing party car to have.
Yeah,
A properly built 4-door drift car, with a cage and everything. It would be amazing. It
yeah,
would
yeah.
just it'd be a little rough to have to restart and find a more competitive chassis, but for now at least, I am committed to it and definitely sticking with the Vic, and very, very, very excited to see what it can do. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
Great stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, man, I think that's all the questions I had. I just wanted to talk to you on here. We've actually never talked in person before, or even on the phone. I think we just messaged. So,
Yeah, I hadn't realized that, but I think you're right.
it seems
Yeah,
like a
that
lot of the
was.
guys in the chat are like big fans of BigRuss Racing. So,
Hey, I mean, like I've said before, and I'll say again, like anybody who's local or comes down, let me know. Like when I found out the Spec P71 guys were there, I was just like, man, like it might be hard to make it out there just to come show you guys around, but if I like need to come work on the car anyway, I would have been cool to come show you guys around, take you guys for a spin. So any local people, any people who are coming and visiting, send me a message, and I'll let you know, hey, I'm going to be there at this event, that event. Come down, hang out. There's generally between 30 to 100 other drift cars there. I've always got a spare helmet, so you want to ride along with me, perfectly fine. You want to ride along with somebody else, borrow my helmet. Even if you need to rent a helmet, I think it's a couple bucks, $5 or $10 or something like that, or $5 at the track. So, there's I don't think there's anybody there really, unless they A, have people waiting, or B, maybe are working on fixing something. Generally, nobody's going to say no for a ride along. Anybody over there is going to want to give you a ride along, and happy to give a ride along. Um, so yeah, all the local people come on out. Um, you don't. If you want to drive your car on the track, I'm happy to give you some pointers. If you want to just come and ride along in mine, you're more than welcome. Come say hello, and yeah, I'm excited to hopefully see more of the Panther community people out there. So
yeah, I'm gonna try my best to make it over to California in 25.
yeah,
I do have it in my calendar. I just need to make sure I can make it happen. It's really just little stuff on the side that I need to take care of. So
yeah,
I'd love to hang out with you guys. So
yeah. I mean, if you can plan it right too. I mean, if you can. I mean, we'll see, but if you could plan it right and actually hit a Willow event too, Willow Springs is
Willow
like
Spring.
hour 15 from Apple Valley, and is a wild, wild track. Especially like Horse Thief Mile. I don't know if you ever ended up seeing the footage of my auto car driving there, but it's a fast track. It's a lot of elevation changes. It's like short banked turns, and all kinds of crazy stuff, and it's a lot of fun. So let me know when you're trying to make that happen, and we'll figure out the right dates and try and get some stuff set up.
Yes, sir. That sounds like a plan.
Yep.
Sounds like an awesome plan. Well, I'm
Yep.
gonna let you go. I know it's getting late here, and I know you're in the Walmart parking lot. I don't know if you're doing some shopping before before you go
Yeah, I
back
was,
home.
I was trying to find my niece. Her second birthday was a couple weeks ago, so, and
Oh,
also now Christmas. So I'm trying to find her. The bad uncle shopping way too late, but I'm trying to find her a nice ride-on
oh
toy.
man.
That hopefully we can swap the batteries out of soon enough and get her some power in that thing.
Yeah, throw a
Get her.
supercharger on there too.
Yeah, get her drifting like her father.
That'll be quick.
That's my brother who drifts. It's his daughter. So
Uh,
uh,
she'll be
but yeah.
she'll be doing it soon.
Yeah, yeah, it's wild how young kids nowadays start. I mean, there's I think there's a 3-year-old in Japan who I saw drifting recently. That was
Yeah,
insane.
that's just crazy.
Yeah, it's that's wild.
That's mad crazy. But yeah, man.
But yeah,
Thanks for joining the live, and
yeah, of
we'll keep
course.
in touch. Thank you everybody for joining in, and be
Yep.
sure to check out Big Russ Racing on his Instagram account. I think you're on Facebook as well.
Yeah, I'm not super active on the Facebook, but working on that. So Instagram is always the best way to get in touch with me, but yeah, Facebook works as well. It's just if I don't get back to it immediately, maybe send me a message at some point. Things get lost. But yeah, happy to chat. People who are looking to drift their Vics, or I mean, drift in general. I'm happy to give some tips and some advice. And yeah, hoping to see some more of the Vic community people out there. So I know it's Christmas Eve right now, but when this does make it up onto the YouTube channel or wherever it does, I expect to see you out there.
Yes,
And
sir. I'll be
yeah,
there.
yeah, sounds good. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Hey, no
As I've
problem.
said before, I appreciate what you do for the community. So
There's nothing better than these cars, man. So no problem.
agreed.
All right, man.
But yeah,
Well,
all right.
keep in
Well,
touch.
Merry
Merry
Christmas,
Christmas.
everyone.
You as well. And drive safe.
Yes, sir. You as well. I'll talk to you guys
All right,
soon.
man. Have a great night.
All right. See you guys.
See you.